You could say that my kitchen is the least sexy version of 50 Shades of Grey. When we thought that we were only going to be here for a year, I was like,
Okay, the apartment's great as is, whatever.
we just renewed our lease, and so that means we're going to be here at least for another year, if not several more. And I was like, enough is enough. I cannot look at this boring gray anymore. So I finally went to the management office and asked if it was okay if I painted and, you know, use some peel and stick wallpaper, and they did not mind at all. So I am so incredibly excited to breathe some new life into this space and give it some color and some character and get rid of this drab, terrible 50 Shades of Grey. Without further ado, for my first home makeover video, let's jump right into the plan. Okay, so first things first is we have to deal with these horrible gray cabinets. And even though in a lot of my reference photos, the cabinets are just like a clean black or white, I decided that in order to combat all of this gray, I wanted to do a color. And since I've got a lot of earth tones and a lot of greens throughout my house, I wanted to go with a sage green. So I picked this color called Pear Cactus from P&G. And so first things first, we're gonna paint the cabinet. Then secondly, once those are done, I have this peel and stick wallpaper backsplash. It looks like white and black tile with little stars throughout the design. The first time I saw it, I just fell in love with it. My Pinterest knows me way too well. I think that's going to add a lot of texture and shapes into the kitchen. And then lastly, once the backsplash is applied, I bought a countertop peel and stick cover. So I mean, essentially I'm going to cover my entire counter with a giant sticker that looks like dark wood. I've used this kind of thing before on a film set. It was very helpful. We used one that looked like granite for the top of a counter, and obviously when you look closely you can tell, but it's going to add so much color and break up the whole kitchen in a way that I think is going to be really beautiful. So I'm so excited. Let's get right into it. I'm so eager. I've been looking forward to this project for, I mean, as long as we've lived here, and finally I have the green light to go ahead and do it. So let's get into painting. Okay, you guys, good morning. I woke up today with the excitement that I wake up with on Christmas Day, and I'm just finishing up a few things. I cleaned all the cabinets. I'm clearing everything off. Next, I'm just gonna remove the handles. Now, we're gonna see how it goes. I am so freaking ecstatic. I haven't even had breakfast yet, so I'm gonna eat a little snack and then get going. I do a lot of art decking on film projects, which means I do the set and some of the props sometimes. So I basically build sets for commercials and films. And so I'm very kind of aware of like how to get things done on a budget and how to make things look 10 times better from a few simple changes. I mean, ultimately, this kitchen is going to be 3 changes that will change it so dramatically by the end. However, I don't do a lot of actual construction, and so I make some rookie mistakes in this video. First being, I used a screwdriver to take off all the hardware. It didn't even dawn on me to use a drill until my husband came in and was like, "Why aren't you using the drill?" And I was like, you know, that's a great question. It didn't even dawn on me. The second would be knowing absolutely nothing about painting cabinets and just like winging it when it's a lot harder than I expected. It's not doable. So if you're thinking about it, it's not impossible, but it's much more work than I had realized. Okay, so I have the first cabinet done. I'm going to let that dry before I move on to the other cabinets for a couple reasons. One, I don't know if I love the color. I was going for like a earthy sage green, and it's feeling brighter than I want it to. I don't know if I'm loving it. And maybe it's just because it's on all the gray that like the black and white backdrop is gonna help. But then I also just want to test and see if not sanding is going to work at all, or if it's just going to look like garbage and that we need to just take the time to sand everything down. So I'm going to let that dry, take a little break, and then we'll see how it looks in a bit. Okay, so I Kind of knew that this would happen, but I do have to take the cabinets off. Trying to paint around the hardware was just way too hard, and I was epically failing at it. There's paint all over them, so I'm just gonna basically do like 2 cabinets at a time because that's all we have room for, which unfortunately slows down the day significantly. But you gotta do what you gotta do. I want these to look good, and I want to be happy with these for however much time we're gonna spend here, so I want to do a good job. I'm hoping this is the first of many home renovation videos that I do. I really enjoy interior decorating. It is an art form that my mom sort of passed down to me. She always had the most beautiful homes and just knew how to arrange a space to make it feel very cozy and comfortable. And I like to think that I have that capability too. And I think combining my love for art and art decking on films, I have this sort of like skill set and idea of making my home just this really beautiful place that everywhere you look, it's just cozy and pretty, and there's something nice to look at. I know not everybody values that or thinks that that's an important thing to spend time and money on, but it's something really important to me, and I'm really excited to start making this space my own. Okay, so I painted 2/3 of the kitchen, and I think I just have to get honest with myself and admit that I hate this color. I really wanted it to work, and I thought maybe that it just needed to dry and I would learn to like it better. But looking back at my inspiration photos, I just feel like this is not at all in line with what I am wanting this kitchen to look like. It looks very mint chip ice cream. It doesn't look like mossy sage green like I was going for, and I just don't understand like how I could be so in love with it on the color swatch and then get it up and really just not like it. I'm really disappointed, and I don't really have time to work on this again until this weekend, which means for the rest of the week we have to just deal with this and open cabinets, unless we just want to reassemble all the cabinets, or unless I just want to stay up all night. It's already 6 o'clock. I got started at 9 a.m. and okay, so many lessons learned today. 1, buy a sample, because don't just buy a gallon of paint and then end up hating it. This looks like a green screen, and it's horrible. 2, you do kind of have to sand things down. I thought like we needed a sander, and that felt like a lot, but no, even if you just buy one of these little sponge things or a sheet of sandpaper just to rough it up, it'll stick a lot better. And 3, stick to what you know. So I went back and I looked at all my reference photos after this whole disaster, and I was like, what do I actually want? Like, what do I want the kitchen to look like? And basically all my reference photos, the cabinets are like either a white, a creamy, or a black. So even though I wanted to brighten up this room, we're actually gonna go black because that feels right, and it's the thing that I'm like most attracted to. And so it's 8 p.m. and we're basically starting over from scratch, and my husband's gonna help. We're gonna pop open a bottle of wine and put on Monsters Inc. for the baby to watch and crank through as much as humanly possible. So wish us luck. Good morning. It's day 2. I woke up early and want to just get started right away. It took me a while to recover from the green fiasco yesterday, but after my husband and I got started, we got some good progress made on black, and I'm loving it. I think it's so moody and beautiful. We got a first layer down on just about everything. So today we're gonna finish up those final details. I don't know if I'm gonna get around to peel and stick background. I have some things to work on for a shoot today, and then I'm on set all day tomorrow, so we're gonna see what I can get done, but I'm much happier with this. So let me just catch you up on the last few days of absolute fuckery. So we painted the cabinets black, and they looked great. They were matte black, They looked awesome. Very dramatic and bold, which is what I like. But if you so much as touched them, it would like leave a mark. It would scuff them or like, yeah, exactly, Lilac. It would just leave a mark or scuff them. And obviously we have a baby and we have to do functional living in our kitchen. So we knew that it would just look so bad. So then I was like, cool, well, what if we just put a finish on them? We go to Home Depot, it's late, it's like 9 p.m. We're both so tired, done with the day. Well, first of all, I go and I try and buy finish and I bought a can of green paint, thinking that it was finish because it said, what, paint and finish? It said
glossy finish.
paint and primer glossy finish, and I just grabbed it thinking it was a glossy finish, like an idiot.
A worse green than the one before.
A worse green than the original green. So I get it home, I realize, oh wait, this is paint. Why did I buy this? Go back, can't find the receipt. I asked just for store credit. They give me store credit. We buy a finish to put over the mat, but it is the glossiest thing you have ever seen. It is so freaking glossy. It's like a mirror. You can see reflections in the cabinet. And not only that, but it's incredibly streaky. This is all like first time amateur stuff. So all of our cabinets are glossy as hell. It smells really bad. The finish smells terrible. We've had to like air out the house. It's like 90 degrees this week and we've been just opening the windows to try and let this smell out. And it looks bad. So this morning has been a big debate of whether we should completely start from scratch, do it all properly, sand it down with an actual sander, or get like paint strip it, sand it down, and just literally start over. The problem being that we live in an apartment complex, in a tiny apartment, and we have no room to do this. If we sand things down in our house, there's gonna be like dust everywhere. It's gonna be a disaster. If we use paint stripper, it's going to be just this toxic stench for like 2 weeks. We're not getting our deposit back, that's a fact. But my only solution, other than just dealing with the high gloss cabinets, is to paper them, which was my plan in the first place. I thought, in my brain, I thought papering them was gonna be such a pain that I didn't want to do it because I knew I would have to take all the cabinets down and take the hardware off, and I would have to measure out the strips of paper to put on the in-between parts. And in my brain, I was like, oh, that's just gonna be so much work. It would be so much easier if we painted them. So, but today we are gonna make some progress. We just went and got a really bougie breakfast. We had bagels and lox for the first time. Can't say that I'm a fan, but Dom liked it. I had a mimosa, I had a cup of coffee, I'm good to go. We're gonna go home, we're gonna put the backsplash on, so at least that will give me some joy in this whole hellish process. And then we're probably gonna go hang out with some friends because it's the 4th of July and we have no plans and we're gonna see what's going on. But wish us luck with the backsplash. Okay, what I don't understand is that these ones look great, right, Lilac? Looking good. But this one in particular is just so streaky and gnarly. This one looks good. These ones down here look pretty good. What is this about? I think it's just because it's right under this light, so it's like the most exposed. But otherwise they look pretty decent. If you've never done peel and stick wallpaper or countertop before, first thing you want to clean everything really good. Make sure there's no grease, there's no food, nothing that's going to cause, bubbles or bumps or just cause it to not stick to the surface. Then you're going to go in and start sticking it. You don't want to cut it first. That's my recommendation. You want to actually start sticking it to the wall like we're doing here, just with your hands, cut around any outlets, obviously. Then you want to go in with an X-Acto blade and cut all your edges. You want to do it after the fact because you don't want to accidentally cut too short and then waste all of this paper. Instead, it's better to get it on and see exactly where you need to cut, because apartments like this or in most houses, things are not perfectly straight. And so you might cut it in a perfectly straight line and then actually the countertop is a little crooked or the wall is a little bit crooked or something like that. So it's better to get it on first and then cut it. I'm using a hairdryer to apply heat, which makes it a little bit more malleable and stick around corners and curves like this a little bit better. You can kind of mold it into whatever shape you want. It's also recommended to use heat when you take it off. You can't just rip it off or it's going to tear up drywall and will be stuck to the counter. You want to use heat from like a hairdryer to actually melt it back off when you're ready to take it off. Okay, everything is looking great except this corner kind of came up and now there's this little gap that wasn't here yesterday. What I really love about this pattern wallpaper, as well as the wood countertop, is that it hid mistakes really, really well. The backsplash wallpaper has like the grout lines that would be there if it was actually tile, and that actually gave like a good amount of room for any sort of flaws. We could reline paper up using that grout line really easily, so that was really nice. And then the wood, it looks like wood, and so I was able to easily cover any sort of mistakes with another piece of paper, and it just looked like a new piece of wood in the countertop. And all the lines of the wood just really cover mistakes and uneven lines really well. So that was an unexpected blessing. Okay, you guys, I just put on the last bit of countertop. So now it's time to clean, time to style, and then I'll show you the final results. I am putting back some of the things that we store on our countertop, like our butter. I'm adding this cookbook holder that my mom passed on to me that's just darling and matches so perfectly now. I actually thrifted a couple cookbooks because we didn't have any and I've always wanted some. And then I bought these little jars off of Amazon to store all of my smoothie ingredients. Well, you guys, there you have it. I hope you enjoyed this video and watching the whole process. I hope that if you're a beginner like me, you learned a few lessons. I am incredibly happy with how this kitchen looks. It is just so beautiful. It literally feels straight out of like my Pinterest board, and it just makes me smile every single time I walk into the room. So I'm really happy that I did it. I did stay under my $200 budget, which I'm really happy about. There are a few things that I would like to add or do as I put a little bit more money into it here and there. I would kind of like to replace the hardware with something either gold or like bronze rather than silver. These are fine, but that might be a fun little thing to try and find something cute and quirky. I would like to get some new like linen dish towels to add a little pop of color, like maybe like a rusty orange or something like that. And then maybe just a few other decoration things like a fake plant or something, or like a little statue to put in the corner. For now, I mean, I was really happy to stay under a $200 budget and get all of this done. If you don't get permission to paint cabinets, or you watch this and no longer want to, or you don't have the tools or the capability of painting your cabinets, I do think that maybe wrapping them in peel and stick paper would have been a better way to go. Painting them was way more challenging than I expected. We don't have the tools or like a sander to do it properly. All in all, I feel like the gloss finish that we picked is going to be durable. It's easy to clean, but I don't entirely love the look of it, and that was just our bad for getting more of a matte paint than we should have. So If you want to do peel and stick paper, I think that's a great call. I think it would be super easy. The hardest part would just be measuring out everything to be a perfect fit. It would probably still be relatively expensive. You'd have to get a lot depending on how many cabinets you have, but I think that's a great alternative if you don't have permission to paint in your apartment. We're gonna be here for another year, if not a few more, and so I'm really happy to have a beautiful kitchen that just makes me smile every single time I walk in. If you like this video, let me know, because I have a few other house renovations I would love to do and document for you. So let me know in the comments if you thought this was entertaining or helpful, and I would be happy to make more videos like this one. Thank you guys so much for being here. Please hit subscribe and like if you like this video, and I will see you in the next one.